Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be episode 4 of the Scania 143 restoration. We've now got this pod on its side just so we can get access to all this stuff. And then I'll just grab a torch. As you can see, we've got it on its side, and as usual there's a bit more welding remaining than we first thought. So we've got all that edge to deal with up in there. That bit of an angle channel there has gone, which is the support for the floor, so we've got to do something with that. This body mount, or the steel work for the body mount, is all paper thin. This is actually about a 10mm plate, so this centre section probably live again. We're going to get a nail gun on that and see how deep that rust has gone into it, but we're hoping we can just chop these sides off, clean all this up and reuse that centre section, just put some new sides on it, which will save us having to try and match these fixing points back up, because obviously if we don't get them spot on, it's not going to sit back in position correctly. So we'll have a look at that, but obviously this is all getting shot blasted anyway, so hopefully we'll deal with a lot of it. We've got all that rust to deal with there, so we're actually going to chop this whole floor out and put a new floor in it, as we did with those sections. And then we've still got this to deal with in there, but now we can get to it all much easier with this being on its side, and obviously all this section to do yet as well on the rear end. So we've also got a bit of an outer skin to put on there. Got some supplies turned up. We will be using a lot of these slit discs, grinding discs, flap discs. So we've got bucket loads of those to crack on with. Now we've also had the parts turn up for the plasma cutter, which we have there, which has been out of action for a while because the tip was burnt out, so we've been waiting for those to come. That's now arrived, which will make life much easier for chopping these floors out and also cutting the patches out of the sheet steel, this stuff, rather than using a grinder. We should be able to just use the plasma cutter on them now, which should speed things up. So I'm going to plasma all these out, plasma all this rust out, plasma this edge off right along there, and get cracking. So that's the plan for the next few steps. We'll see how much of this we can get done. Slipping out that. Can you get under it a bit more before you pull it out? Yeah. Do it with this. Swing that back end out of it now. Yep, that'll do. Right, so start of another day on the Scania fabrication and welding work. We've now got the plasma cutter working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut all this rot out of here with this, get all that crap out of the way, and then put some new pieces of steel. Just put a one piece in this floor and patch that up, and I'm going to fabricate a new body mount for here, as I mentioned on the previous clip. So I'm going to position my phone now and start chopping all this crap out. I'll be back in a bit. Right, so we've got another massive patch done there. I've seam welded this, and this has been butt welded, so by the time it's all ground back it should be nice and flush. There's no overlapping gone on there. I've also put strip across this top edge that I was talking about. That's all now in. I've actually clamped a nice big thick 2-inch box section underneath here just to stop this from warping while I was welding it. Obviously with the heat going in it, if there was nothing to support that, that would all go all over the place, so that's been supported just for that. If you're wondering what all them clamps were for. So the next stage here now is to put a nice big thick steel plate up there, and this is going to be the pad for the body mount. I did take some measurements before I cut the old one off, so I've got the positions of where the holes go for when this goes back onto the chassis. So we're going to put some big 5mm steel plate up here, and I'm going to double that up, so it'll obviously be 10mm. I'm going to plug weld those two sheets together, and then we're going to put some big fat steel pads for the rubber pads to sit on. There's rubber pads between the body and the chassis. So that's the next stage. We're going to get this piece in here, fabricate some patches for them, and we also need a return edge, 2-inch return edge off there, as it was originally. So that's another massive chunk done. It's made an absolute mess of the workshop, so we'll have a quick tidy up, sweep some of this stuff out of the way, get rid of some of this cabling and all this sheet steel, get all that gone, and then we'll crack on and start to get this next section done. The next stage is going to be, I'm going to get this steel plate that I've just chopped, which is nice and thick. This is about 5mm solid steel plate. We're going to be running this up inside of here to give a nice plate for the body mount to sit on. Once that is in place, then I'm going to run some angle up the sides of it as it was originally, and possibly put another plate over the top of this and plug weld them together so that it's doubled up, so we'll have sort of a nice fat 10mm plate to sit on. And then we've got to put some solid steel pads in here for the rubber bobbins to sit on as well. I also got the other side pod off on the last episode as well, so we can now start to work on this one. This one isn't as bad as the near side one. It has had some welding done to it in the past. It still wants a hell of a lot of work. The floors are there. Obviously we'll have to assess these and see how bad they are. Just get that out of the way. Some holes that have been chopped, which are not the best. Some plates been put in at some point in the past, so we'll probably chop again a lot of these floors out. This divider once dropping back down to floor level. A nice big patch across the bottom of there. And this one, again, this one's been patched up in the past. Had some pieces put in here, so we'll assess them and see if they'll clean up. Obviously this is all getting shot blasted, so we'll see what these turn out like after the shot blast. There is a bit of a hole there in the back as well, which wants plating up. And this, again, not too bad in there in the floor, but it is going to want some work. That divider's okay. That one again, pretty scabby, but for the most part it's probably still pretty solid, but again we'll see what that's like after the shot blasting. This one, this is where the batteries actually sit. This is the battery box for the truck. This has had some previous welding in the past again, so hopefully that bit will be okay. We are going to have to possibly chop this junction box out because this has been welded in place. You'll see the welds up here. This needs to come out because the actual body mount's fixed underneath there. So as you can imagine, it's going to be impossible to get body bolts in there with this still in position. So we're going to have to chop that, then welds off there, remove this, so we can gain access to get the body mounts back in once this is all complete and ready to go back on the truck. So a little walk around the back. We've got some rust there to deal with. We're going to have to patch up, possibly cut this channel off and put a patch in there. This edge is a bit crusty. We'll see what that's like. Once it's been blasted, we'll probably cut that off and run a piece of inch angle all the way down there. And then this frame has got a bit thin as well, so we'll reframe that out. So that's the plan for today. I'm going to get this hopefully finished today, this side. Get all these bits done, get this body mount done, finish off this back corner, and that should see that side finished.
Eastside boy, Turtle City.
Right, so we've got that plate in there now, and we've put some wings down the side of it as well to strengthen that up a bit. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run another brace like this down this side, and then I'm just going to run a brace across each one of these middles. It'll give this a little bit more support, but it'll also take this sort of tin canning effect out of this floor, just to stop it rattling around as much. Obviously it's a little bit, because it's such a big patch, there's a little bit of flex in these plates, so running a brace across each one of them will just give that a little bit of support, stop it tin canning, and also just support this bracket even more. So I'm going to do that now. We're back in a mo. once we got all that welding done, braced all this in, obviously put the edging strips up the side of that. These have gone in pretty well, as I said, takes all that flopping about out on them panels. We've positioned our holes ready for drilling them out to 32mm wide, ready for the body mounts to go on. I've now cut out all the junk from here. Done a lot of chopping and grinding there in this bottom corner. I've made this steel plate, which is the first plate to go in to this section, and then I can box off that. And I've also cut out this rotten section on this corner, which comes off here and follows that around. And I've had to chop 2 inches off the bottom of there as well, because this was all rotten. So this actually needs extending by 2 inches now to get it back to its original depth. So that's where we're up to at the moment. I'm going to start getting this big plate in there now, and then I can put a 2-inch strip right across this bottom and start to box all this in, and then I'll make a patch for that bit. So I'm going to crack on.
It's our boy, Turtle Shit.